Hey, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So today we are doing my June TBR video. Now, the summer TBR is going to be a little different this year. It's kind of just always like this for me in the summer. I love to mood read in the summer. I love to just see whatever comes up and read it. So we will not be doing the TBR jar for the summer till probably August or September is when we're going to start doing the TBR jar again. For now, we are just going to be talking about my summer reading goals and some books I for sure want to try to read in June / this summer. To me, summer is June, July, August. So we have a few books that I for sure want to read next month, or this month, I should say. We for sure have a few books I want to read in the month of June, but there's also just some goals. So let's start with some specific goals that I want to do for my reading this summer. I am very much into a beach read, whether that's just like I love a good summer beach book or a summer at the lakes. So one of my goals this summer is to read the whole Carly Fortune book series. This summer will be different. Our Perfect Storm just came out, which is kind of why I want to read it because it is a new release this year, and I'm trying to read, for sure, I'm still going to try to read 2 new releases every month, and then in December I think I'm going to read only new releases again. So I think every 6 months I'm going to read all new releases. So in technically I should have done it in June, but I did it in May, and then in December I will do it again, or maybe November. Maybe that'll be fun. But I definitely want to read the Carly Fortune series. I've heard so many good things about it, and I love a good just summer romance. And that to me sounds like peak summer romance. I already have a couple of the books available on my Libby app, but I also think I'm going to get a couple of the books from the library. So that is for sure on my goal. And I'm looking on my Fable for some of the book series. I really want to do a lot of series, and I really want to do complete more of my series on my series book tracker. So I really also want to read more of the Shatter Me series. I've read the first book and I thought it was okay. I thought it was pretty good. It's kind of older and I feel like I missed the trend on that, but I do want to either read some more and see if it's something I want to finish. I have the second book also available on Libby, so that's something else I want to read this summer, hopefully. I would like to read a couple memoirs, nonfiction books this summer. I don't normally read those, and I want to read something from someone I'm interested in, like I'm Glad My Mom's Dead, or My Mother's House, or Cher's memoir, or Fame Sick, something like that. I want to read 1 or 2. I definitely this summer want to take off more of my fantasy. There's so many fantasy series I want to read, and I just have to get over my fear of starting a fantasy series / book. I just have to. This fall, I'm planning on doing fantasy fall, so I'm gonna read mostly fantasy and try to finish my whole fantasy TBR this fall. That's my goal. We'll see how far I get because I am kind of a mood reader, but we'll see. I'm also gonna try not to be so I have to read everything on my TBR, because that's fine for me sometimes to have a strict TBR, but I do like to mood read. So, and I think maybe I gave myself kind of a reading slump. I was still kind of slumping this past month in May, and then April I slumped hard. And I think that's because I was just I have to finish every single book on my TBR. I don't have to do that. It's okay. It's okay if you don't finish your TBR and read something else. It's still okay. I would love to read the Emily, is it M.M. Lyon? Or is it Emily M? No, I think it's M.M. Lyon series. I think they're kind of novella length. They're not very long, and I think they're getting longer. I think there's 6, 7, 8 books. I would love to start and finish that this summer as well. I've been hearing so many good things about it, and I'm really, really interested in it. I've heard it's very cozy. I'm not really sure if it's a slice of life thing where there's a bit of mystery, a bit of romance, a bit of literary fiction. I'm not quite sure, but I think it's journal entries. I think we're reading her journal, and I loved the Emily Wilde series, and that was kind of like journal entries. I really loved how that was written, so I'd love to read something like that. Okay, I'm back. I had a bathroom emergency. This coffee is going straight through me. I digress. Another goal of mine, another series goal of mine this summer, I'm gonna call, maybe this is like I'm doing fantasy fall, maybe I should do book series summer, like to read as many book series as possible. I really want to read Off Campus. I watched Off Campus season 1 and I loved it, but I only want to read the 4, like The Deal, The Score, The Mistake, the whatever. I only want to read those 4. I don't want to read anything else. Just because that's like what the series is going to be and I'm invested and I need to read it. I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to get Kindle Unlimited. Kindle or Kobo Unlimited. I still haven't decided, but I'm going to get one of the two. Right now I'm paying for the Spotify plan where you get extra Spotify hours every month. But I would rather pay that same amount of money to get either Kobo or Kindle Unlimited with audiobooks. So that way I can get audiobooks and download Kindle books for not free because I'm paying for it, but like for free. I don't have to pay. So I want to do that as well. So one of those. So hopefully that'll also help my audiobook-ness. And Libby, of course. Another goal, if like I say that, so I've said that a lot, but I want to read more Ellen Hildebrand books. She has so many beach reads and I really want to read quite a few of them this summer. On Libby right now, I have, what is it called? Winter Holiday on hold. Yes, I have Winter in Paradise on hold, that audiobook on hold. That audiobook is 10 hours. I also have the 5-Star Weekend. I tried to read this once and I had to soft DNF it. I think the beginning was very slow for me and I honestly didn't understand the whole thing. I know that this gal becomes online friends with this, basically like this influencer, and then gets invited to her house. So I think I need to like audiobook the first half of this, or the first like quarter of it, and then read it. So I have this one, and I also have Swan Song. I got this at Half Price Books. It's literally brand new. Like I think I got this for like $4 or $5 at Half Price Books. I definitely want to read this since I have it. So these two, I think I might put one on my June. I'm still gonna fill out a reading journal and put TBR on there for some specific books, which I think we can get into now. I think I'm gonna put one of these on my June TBR and one of these on my July TBR so that I can for sure still get my TBR down. So I definitely want to read some Ellen Hildebrand books, specifically these two. I also have the first Carly Fortune book every summer after, or whatever, the first book in that series. I also have that on Libby right now. So there's that. We're gonna start with my literary fiction shelf. There are quite a few books I want to read. I pretty much want to read all of these books this summer, so we'll just go through those. The first is Homeseeking. This is a pretty thick book. I got this at where did I get this at? Oh, Half Price Books, because I didn't have Book of the Month at the time. I have been dying to read this, and this is just giving it's very summery, and I know it's about these two, I think, is it Japanese? Chinese? These two Asian people. Basically, one of them gets sent to the army, the guy, and then I think they get separated, and like 50 years later they meet back up, and it kind of goes back and forth in time. So I definitely want to read this book. The Wedding People is one I for sure want to read this in June. This will definitely be on my June TBR. I'm getting married in July, and this is such a summer book, and I've had this for a while, so this is a definite I want to read this in June. So this is for sure going on my TBR this month. It all comes down to this. This is it's very summery cover. I thrifted this at a thrift store, and to me, I will probably audiobook this. I don't know why I bought this. I did a book haul where I thrifted a bunch of books. All of them I regret buying. So not thrifting books unless it's at like Half Price Books and it's a book I'm like, that's actually on my radar. I'm not getting random books anymore. But I do want to try to read this one. I already talked about Swan Song. I think I want to read the 5-Star Weekend in June 1st because the series is coming out. So I think this is definitely going on my TBR this month as well. Remarkably Bright Creatures is also going on my TBR this month. I think is it a TV show or a movie? I forget. But this is being produced into a film adaptation, and I've had this for a long time. I love the cover. I've heard it's really heartbreaking, so I've been kind of putting it off. But what about this isn't giving like summer? I have to read this. So I'm hoping to read this in June as well. Gathered the Daughters. This is going on my July TBR because this takes place in July. This is a psychological thriller. My fiance thrifted this book for me, and it's basically about these girls that it's like controlled breeding basically. And I think these people stumble into this weird village and try to save the girls or something. I don't know, but this is going on my July TBR for sure. A little sneak peek into there. The Three Lives of KK isn't like super high on my summer TBR, but I do want to try to get to this as well. It's very short, so like why not? The last 2 books on this shelf are My Friends and Lucky. My Friends, this was on my TBR a couple of months ago. I think in April was it on my TBR? I think so, and I didn't get to it. This is my last Frederick Bachman book I have to read, so I'm really like, ugh. I think I want to read this in June. This is kind of one, or in July. This is kind of one of those books that's like, when I get to it this summer, I get to it, but I will be reading this summer. This is also kind of like, when I get to it, I'll get to it, but it's so short. Like I will be reading this probably this in June as well because it's so short. And I got this at Target recently, so I want to read it this year. And it's an interesting concept. It's about this girl who is dating this guy, and I think they're like conning people out of money, and then he leaves her and she has no money. I think she's on the wanted list, and her name is Lucky. So that's this shelf. So basically everything in the back here I want to try to read this summer. So let's put everything back. I'm going to keep out the books that I want to read this July for sure so that we can do a recap at the end. Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow is definitely a book I want to read this summer. It's just a short book, and I've heard it's really good. I think this won the Goodreads Choice Awards books in like 2023 or 2024 maybe. When was this book published? Does it say? 2022 maybe? Anyway, I'm pretty sure this won Goodreads Choice Award books. Also, these like covers with like this weird like thing here, I hate it. Let's stop doing this. I absolutely hate that. So there's that. Sisters Under the Rising Sun. I've had this for a long time. I got this as a gift, and I want to read this this summer just so that I can read it and be done with it, because this does not appeal to me. This literally says war cannot defeat the bonds of love. I don't have a sister, so I don't get it. Sorry. Also, The Nightingale is another war book, and they just make me so sad. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, like, they just make me really sad. Like, I just can't. So, yeah. Also, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I got this. It's in large print. I don't want to read this big book. There's nothing in me that wants to read this, so I am actually going to be unhauling this book. Just throw it out. I don't want to read it at all. Like, I look at it, and I just feel dread. So, let's talk about my romance shelf next. I don't know if I'm going to be reading much fantasy in the summer. To me, summer is like literary fiction and romance summer, for sure. I don't even really feel like mystery thrillers at all. I love romance and literary fictions in the summer, especially romance. So that's kind of what I'm going to be focusing on. I'm for sure going to read. So let's just talk about The Vow of Thieves. I read Dance of Thieves in April, and I got this in the middle of May. I'm for sure reading this month, because it's a duology, the second last book that I have to read. So I will be reading this. So this is also going on my June TBR. But besides that, I don't know much else. Here we have 3 different Elsie Silver books from 3 different series. I want to read all of these, pick for sure 1 or 2, and read the whole series. I don't know which one I'm going to like better. I've heard this one is like just okay compared to these 2. I've heard not much about this series at all, but I feel like I'm going to like this the best based off of what I know. And then this next. I know there's like a hockey romance, I think, one of these. So maybe we'll start with this book series. But I for sure want to read all 3 of these this summer. I think maybe we'll put Flawless on my June TBR just to get the ball rolling. Also in June, like last year, I think June, July, and August, I listened to a lot of audiobooks in the summer because I'm at work and I'll just pop in a headphone and listen to them. And while I'm in the garden, I'll listen to audiobooks. I just have a lot of hobbies, or while I'm painting my nails, I'll listen to audiobooks. I don't watch a lot of TV. So I'll read like 10 to 12 books a month. I'm going to try to read a book every 2 days this summer because I have a lot of books here and a lot of mood reading to catch up on. So that's the goal. So hopefully we can read Flawless in June. If not, Off to the Races. I would also like to read in June as well. But we'll start with Flawless first. I also got in a New York Minute at Half Price Books. I really liked the cover. It was cute. I haven't heard anything about this. It was just like a cute little romance book, and I thought this would be great, so I want to read this summer. Next, these are the rest of those up there are romantasy books. These are all my just plain romance books. I will be reading Beach Read this summer. I'm hoping to read this in July, maybe this month, I don't know. I read Happy Place by Emily Henry. I listened to the audiobook and I honestly didn't love it. I'm hoping I'll love Beach Read. I also want to read Book Lovers, and there's another one. It's like Friends. It's about these two people who... Funny Story. I think that's what it's called. I want to read Funny Story. But this is going to be read this year. I brought this to Florida last year, and I was going to actually read it on the beach, and I forgot it. But I'm reading this year, for sure. I have 2 Jessa Hastings books, Never and Time of Your Life. I'm hoping to read both of these. I think I'm going to put Time of Your Life on my June TBR. I'm really interested in this book. I haven't heard much about it because this came out and then she got canceled for saying, I don't even know what, that she used AI or something, but I don't really know why she got canceled, so I'm still going to read it. And I already had both of these books before she got canceled, and I'm not going to get rid of them just because she got canceled. So, yeah. Also, Magnolia Parks, one of my favorite series, so I'm not unhauling that, and I will be rereading that at some point, so yeah. But I think I want to do Time of Your Life. I'm interested in this. I'm also interested in Never, but I think she might be coming out with a second one of these, and this is a series, and she's not done with the Magnolia Park series yet, but Time of Your Life is a bit shorter, so I think that might be a good opportunity. I also have Ready or Not by Cara Bastone. This is a Book of the Month book, but I got this at Half Price Books, not from Book of the Month, and I did like No Matter What. I didn't love it. I'm not big into miscommunication trope, or just miscommunication in books in general. Like, I understand a little bit, like everyone goes through a little bit of miscommunication, but I didn't love the amount that was actually in that book. And I've been noticing that in a couple books I've read about married couples, because that is a book about a married couple. They have so much miscommunication. I'm like, you're literally married and you live together. How can you have this much communication? I don't know. And I know that's probably judging me, but it just was my favorite. But this is a pregnancy trope, I think, accidental pregnancy. But tell me this cover isn't giving. Like, oh my gosh, I'm obsessed. So this is another one I really want to read this summer. Also, sorry if this is like not what you're expecting for my June TBR. It's more just like June reading, summer reading goals. And I'll do another one in July, but I think I'm gonna do a July TBR plus June reading wrap up, like in the same video, same with August, because I have no idea what I'm gonna be reading in June. For sure, a few books on the TBR, but who knows? So let's put these back. Let's talk fantasy. As I said before, I am going to be reading Vow of Thieves. I'm for sure reading this next month. It's a duology, and I've already read the first one, so I need to read the second one, and then that's a series complete. So I am reading that for fantasy. The one fantasy / romantasy book that's really speaking to me is Heartless Hunter. This is a duology, so I'm very interested in this, and it's not a huge commitment. Since I have a lot of romance series I want to read, I thought maybe this could be good. And this might be more romancy than fantasy, so this is something I'm really interested in reading in the summer, mostly in June. I'm kind of hoping to get to this, but we will see. I'm interested in starting Dungeon Crawler Carl. I've heard the audiobooks for these are amazing, so I think I'll probably audiobook this month. At least start it. There's like little pictures in here. This is a really long series. I think there's like 8 or 9 books. And I'm wondering if they're all about Carl or if it's kind of like interconnected standalones where I can just like read this and like be okay. I am not opposed to reading this whole series, but I definitely want to start it because there's so many and that might be a slow build throughout the year. Road of Bones is also, I got this at Target recently and I think there's 3 books in this series. For some reason, I love the cover. I'm really, really invested in reading this soon. It's very much giving like creepy, weird cover vibes, but the font here is tiny. It is so small, but this is also going to, another fantasy I want to read is The Prison Healer. I've been talking about this so much, but I'm like actually determined to start this soon. Yeah, I keep saying I want to read this, and this is only 3 books. So like that's not a huge commitment, and like depending on how long the audiobooks are, like if it's anywhere from, I think my max is 10. Like I can listen to a whole 10-hour audiobook in one day. If I start it when I wake up and finish it that day, I can read it in one day. So I'm not opposed to doing that. And like some of these shorter books, like I'm sure on Spotify, let me just look like The Prison Healer, like how long that audio book time is. Oh, the audiobook is 15 hours. This is so short. Oh, the font's kind of small. Let's look up Dungeon Crawler Carl. I'm not finding the audiobook. Like, where is this? Am I stupid? I'm very confused by this actually because everyone says the audiobooks are so good and I can't find the audiobooks for Dungeon Crawler Carl. Interesting. Okay, well, there's that. A lot of my fantasy TBR, I feel like is not very, as to my knowledge, it's not very romantasy heavy, and I would prefer to read romantasy than straight fantasy, if that makes any sense. Just because I think that's a bit easier for me to get into. Like Heartless Hunter and like Vow of Thieves, it has obviously that fantasy aspect, but it's a lot about the romance, and I think this is the same. A lot about the romance. Dungeon Crawler Carl, I think, is just funny and will be like different. There are a couple books I didn't get to on my TBR this past month, which was come out, but The Odds of You is another just like short romance that I want to get to this month as well. So that's kind of like it for my like physical TBR. There are so many books I really, really want to read, like that I don't have. Like Phoebe Berman's Gonna Lose It or something like that. It's about this girl who has like relationship, like intimacy anxiety. I really want to read that. I want to read a Sally Rooney book this summer. I've heard she's got really good stuff, and I think she wrote No More People, and I know she wrote Intermezzo. So that's an author I want to get into. Picking Daisies on Sundays, I want to read that book so bad. Oh, also, I want to read more Abby Jimenez. I read Just for the Summer, loved it, 5 stars. I read The Night We Met, wasn't my favorite, which I feel like people either loved it or just kind of felt meh about it. I want to read like Yours Truly, So You'll Remember Me. Yeah, she has quite a few, so I would love to get more into that. I'd love to read an Alice Feeney book. I really want to read Check and Mate. I want to get more into Allie Hazelwood. I really want to get into Allie Hazelwood, and Check and Mate just sounds like really cute and interesting to me. Depending on if I like Cara Bastone's Ready or Not, I'm gonna read her whole discography. Whether the book is 5 stars or not doesn't mean like you can't enjoy an author. So yeah. But for this month's TBR, let me just go with what I have available on my Libby right now, because those are for sure books I'm gonna start like soon. Today is literally like the last day of May. So I'm going to read Every Summer After, so starting the Carly Fortune books. And then I'm gonna read Winter in Paradise by Ellen Hildebrand. I'm also gonna read The 5-Star Weekend by Ellen Hildebrand as well this month. So this is book number 2. I'm going to read Vow of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson to finish the Dance of Thieves trilogy, or duology, so that's the third book I'm going to read. I'm going to read Remarkably Bright Creatures, and I'm going to read The Wedding People this month, so that's a couple more. And then here are like soft TBR picks. Like if I don't know what to read, I'm going to do these. Flawless, Time of Your Life, Heartless Hunter, and Dungeon Crawler Carl. So that's for sure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's like 9 books I'm hoping to read. I feel like that shouldn't be too hard to do. In my reading journal, I think I'm only going to put probably 6 in there. 6 for sure I want to read, plus my book of the month. Book of the month hasn't dropped yet, but I'm determined to read my book of the month pick every single month. Like I'm gonna try not to put it off. So yeah, pretty informal TBR, not really a solid TBR, but thank you so much for watching and listening to me kind of ramble about all the books I want to read, which is like a lot of them. I want to read obviously all my books on my TBR, but for sure my summer picks. If you are similar to me and like you kind of have certain books you want to read but you're not 100% gonna make a TBR, let me know. I'd love to hear some of your books. If you have any thoughts on, you know, any of these books I'm gonna read, or, you know, have any thoughts on like the LC Silver books or any of the series I brought up that you want to share your thoughts, please comment down below. I would love to hear from you what you're thinking. If you've watched this far into the video, thank you. Not very many people make it all the way through my videos, so thank you so much. And yeah, I will do reading vlogs and keep you updated throughout the month. So I'll see you in the next video.